This is Anand Mahajan, your instructor for this course of Python. In this lecture, I am going to talk about exceptions.
This video is brought to you by Appy Pie Academy.
Exceptions, which are also called runtime errors. But before talking about exceptions, let me tell you that there are three types of errors when we people program. They are syntax errors, logical errors, and exceptions. Syntax errors, they occur when we make some syntax errors while writing the program. For example, if I am supposed to define a variable but I am not applying the required syntax, so what will happen is syntax error will be there. And another example is, suppose I am supposed to define a dictionary but I am not following the proper syntax of defining a dictionary, then syntax error will occur. And if your program has a syntax error, there is no question of its execution. Program will not start executing, right? Second type is logical errors. Now, interestingly, what happens in case of logical error is there are no syntax errors. That is why the whole program has been executed successfully. But the output is wrong. Why the output is wrong? Because the programmer might have made some logical mistakes in the program. So program executes, but output is wrong. So these are logical errors. Now we come to exceptions, which are in fact runtime errors. What happens in case of exceptions is your program starts executing. That means it doesn't have any syntax errors. It starts executing because in Python the interpreter works and it works line by line. The first line will be executed. I am giving an example. The second line is executing, third line is executing. And for example, say at nth line, the Python interpreter is not able to execute the line because of some error. Such kinds of errors are called exceptions, and what will happen is your program will be terminated forthwith. It will stop running as soon as exception occurs, right? So now what is exception handling? As I have told you, as and when an exception occurs in normal circumstances, the program is terminated. Suppose we don't want our program to be terminated in case of exception, and what we want is the program flow should continue. So what I want to say is coding technique that prevents program to get terminated. Coding technique that prevents program from getting terminated in the event of an exception is called exception handling. And we will learn this step by step. But before that, let me tell you that what can be the various causes, various reasons for exceptions, and what are the corresponding built-in exceptions provided by Python. Python has come up with some built-in exceptions. So we will see the circumstances that raise the exceptions and what is the name given by Python to them. Okay. There are so many exceptions. I am going to enumerate some of them which are very important. A variable not defined. Suppose I have not defined a variable, but I am trying to use it in my Python program. This is an exception, and name of this exception given by Python is name error, and N and E is capital. Division by zero. All of us know that division by zero is not allowed. So if the programmer will try to divide any number with zero, there will be an exception, and the name given to this built-in exception is zero division error. Non-numeric data in place of string. Suppose we were supposed to give some numeric data, but in place of that string has been given. This is called value error. File not found. We are trying to use a file, but that is not existing. File not found error. This is the name given by the Python. EOF stands for end of file. End of file reached. Suppose I am reading a file, but in between the end of file has been reached. So in that case, EOF error will occur. Don't worry, till now people have not studied about files, so I will be talking about file not find and EOF reached in that particular section. Module not found. Now, as you know, when you want to use a module, it has to be imported using the import statement. Suppose you have imported a module, but that does not happen to be present. In that case, the exception will occur, and the name given by Python to that exception is import error. Interrupted through keyboard, it is keyboard interrupt. If you suppose your program is running and you happen to interrupt it, like pressing Control C or Control break, so this exception will occur, and the name is keyboard interrupt exception. Similarly, when a floating point operation fails, you are using a floating point, one or more numbers, and some floating point operation is being conducted, but what happens is it fails because of some reason or the other. Floating point error exception is there. If index of a sequence is invalid, here by sequence, as you know, I mean your list, set, tuple, etc. If index of a sequence is invalid, index error will occur. Similarly, when an operation runs out of memory error, this is the name of the exception. Similarly, key not found in dictionary. Suppose you are using a dictionary, as you have already studied about dictionary. In each element of a dictionary consists of two parts. One is key, another is value. And suppose I am interested in finding the value of a particular key, and I supply the key, but what happens is that key is not present. In that case, the error is name is key error. So these were some of the built-in exceptions and their causes that I have discussed. In the subsequent lectures, we will be seeing how do we go about exception handling. Thank you.